Alright, I am back live to bring to you my hometown team, the Chicago Bears. I'm going to break them down in Tecmo Super Bowl, the Tecmo Madison 13 training. But before I get into the team, let me give you a little story time with the Chicago Bears. So I have a love-hate relationship with my home team town, the Chicago Bears. I was becoming a super fan in my early teenage years. Die-hard fan. Would watch every Sunday, watch all the pregame, postgame. And if they lost the game, I was a lot to deal with. It would affect me emotionally to the point where my day was ruined if the Chicago Bears lost. Well, I got to go to a Bears game sometime when it was about -9 degrees out. The Bears were playing the Houston Texans. Chad Hutchinson was the Bears quarterback. They weren't a very good team, but I got an opportunity to go to the game. My dad took me to the game, and it was freezing outside. We were sitting in the middle row, not the middle row, but like the middle balcony, so there was no sunshine on us at all, so it was even colder. And we were in the last row in the middle, and above us was the Bears GM, Jerry Angelo. He's wearing his little cute scarf. It's obviously a heated room. And I was jumping up and down to stay warm. This is the first Bears game that I've been to since I was really getting into football, becoming a huge fan of the team. And I'm jumping up and down, and Jerry Angelo has security sit me down. And at that point, I was really heartbroken because I knew who Jerry Angelo was. I was a fan of him because obviously he was the general manager. And here he is in freezing cold weather. He's got his cute little scarf on, and he's sitting me down. So that was quite the learning experience for me. After that, I never really felt the same about the Bears and the same loyalty. I know he's not the general manager anymore, but that hurt me in the heart right here. So I became a Bears fan after that, but I was never that connected to the team. Brian Urlacher was too good of a player, too good to pass up being a fan of. And, the Bears did go to that Super Bowl. But that's enough story time about the Chicago Bears. For now, I could talk about it more when I play a game with the Bears. So let's take a look at the Bears team. They got your Super Bowl quarterback, Super Bowl coach, brought the 49ers to the Super Bowl. Also, the Michigan's head coach. Currently, Jim Harbaugh. And the thing about Jim Harbaugh is he's not very good in this game. He's actually going to get replaced for the backup, Mike Tomczak. He has a 13 maximum speed as a runner, 44 pass speed, which isn't too bad, but that 25 pass control is brutal. If the accuracy passing did something, that 56 would look better, but that rating doesn't do anything. And then the avoid pass block is poor as well, 25. So Mike Tomczak, you're putting him in. He's not much better, but he is better. He's a 13 maximum speed. He's a 44 passing speed, which is the same as Harbaugh. 31 pass control. 31 accuracy passing doesn't do anything, and avoid pass block 38. So his avoid pass block and pass control is better than Harbaugh, so Harbaugh is getting benched. Now the Bears running backs, this is where you got to get kind of creative because they have three really good ones. So Brad Muster, he doesn't have the maximum speed, it's at a 25, but he has that huge hitting power, 94. That's going to allow you to break some tackles, popcorn some defenders, and you want to use that to your advantage. The other big thing of Brad Muster is his receptions, 56. So 56 is above average, and he is actually the best receiver on the team. So you could use him as the wide receiver. That's what I'm going to do, and I'll show you why based off one of the other running backs on the Chicago Bears roster. Now, Neal Anderson is your star on offense. You're going to be running the offense through him. He's got an oddity is his running speed, 50. That's at the snap of the ball. That's faster than most of the other running backs. 69 rushing power, that's his acceleration, and his maximum speed is a 63, which is among the top. 50 hitting power, it's not going to get you any popcorns, but it won't allow guys like Lawrence Taylor to just blast you down. They're going to have to fight for the tackle, that's for sure. And he also has a good 50 receptions and a 50 ball control. And as we know, the ball control calculates if the ball carrier will fumble or not. Now, Mark Green, he's the lesser running back of the four. He's only got 31 maximum speed, 25 hit power, 25 receptions. So he's not going to be of use at all. But Johnny Bailey, this is a sleeper. He's got the maximum speed. That's what you're really looking at with him. So 56 maximum speed is very good. He's a fast running back, so you want to get him in the offense for sure. His hitting power is only 25, and his receptions are 38. So with Johnny Bailey, you can either put him as the second running back or a wide receiver. I've chosen to put Brad Muster at wide receiver because he's got better receptions, and put Johnny Bailey as the second running back. And then you can also look at Johnny Bailey's condition throughout the course of the game to see if his condition goes up, and he might get faster than Neal Anderson if Neal Anderson goes to bed. Now, Ron Morris and Wendell Davis, they have the exact same ratings, 31 running speed, 69 rushing power, 31 maximum speed, and a 50 receptions, 50 ball control. So you're probably going to take out one of these guys to put in Brad Muster. So it doesn't really matter which one, and of course, as the conditions change during the game, you might want to put one in versus the other. They're both not very good as far as ratings are considered, but that's what you got to work with. And then Glenn Kozlowski, another wide receiver on the Bears. He's not a guy you're putting in the game. He's just not good enough. 19 maximum speed and only 44 receptions. No thank you. Dennis Gentry, 19 maximum speed, only a 13 hitting power, 50 receptions. Another receiver staying on the bench. Now, James Thornton. Now, here's the thing. He's only at 25 receptions at tight end. So he is a guy you could take out and put in, Brad Muster at his position. And, to be honest, that might be the smarter thing to do. But James Thornton has that 63 hitting power, so that's going to be good for blocking. But you're not going to lose anything if you put Brad Muster there, and he's a better receiver. So, to be honest, that might be what I do, even though before I started this video, I had it another way. But I think that's the better option. And then Cat Bozo, he's only got a 19 maximum speed, 31 receptions, 44 hitting power. So he's sitting on the bench as well. Now, the Bears' offensive line is above average. Their center, Jay Hilgenberg, 63 hitting power, 50 maximum speed, very fast. And Mark Bortz, he's got a 44 maximum speed, 69 hitting power. Too bad one of these guys weren't the right tackles, because the Bears' kick returner, punt returner would be flying. Tom Thayer, he's a radio announcer for the Bears with Jeff Joniak. He could hold his own, 50 hitting power, 38 maximum speed. Jim Covert, also 50 hitting power. Keith Van Horn, 50 hitting power, 31 maximum speed. So your right tackle, your kick returner is going to have that 31 maximum speed. So I know I said punt returner earlier, but it's only right tackle is only for your kick returner, not your punt returner. And Kevin Butler, I honestly thought he would be better, but he's only got a kicking ability of 38, which is good for about a 66-yard field goal. And avoid kick block is 50, so that's at least solid, not as many blocked kicks. Their punter doesn't have much of a leg, only 31 kicking ability, 25 avoid kick block. And you might be punting with the Bears a little bit because they're kind of one-dimensional on offense. Now the Bears D, this is the strength of the team. Their D-line is not only fast, but they all have good hitting power. Richard Dent with that 50 maximum speed, 63 hit power, 75 quickness, looks great, but it doesn't do anything. And the other thing about Richard Dent is you can actually pull him back into coverage with that 44 interceptions. That's rare for a defensive end. William Perry, not very fast, only a 19 maximum speed, but that's 69 hitting power. If the opposing center is weak, he could bust right through them. There's a possibility for that. And then Trace Armstrong at the other side, another big-time hitting power, 50 maximum speed. He's got that 31 run speed, accelerating at a 44 rush power, and 19 interceptions. So Richard Dent's really the only one you would bring back in coverage. But you probably won't have to, and I'll get to that in a second. Jim Morsey, if the Bears have any weakness on defense, it is 3 of the linebackers. They're average. They're not bad. At least Jim Morsey has a 31 interceptions, which is a little bit better for coverage. Dan Hampton, he has good hitting power, even though he's only a 38 maximum speed, 19 interceptions. So he's got that going for him. But Mike Singletary, here's a superstar, a linebacker, 56 maximum speed, 75 hitting power. He could hit with the best of them, and you will be user controlling Mike Singletary on defense. Even though he's a 19 interceptions, that speed will allow you to bring him back in coverage. Also, you could sneak in a little blitz up the middle with Mike Singletary. So keep your eye on him. Ron Rivera, also coach of the Carolina Panthers currently. He's a 38 maximum speed, 44 hitting power. 31 interceptions, so not bad coverage as well. So if you could see so far, the Bears got a couple of good coverage linebackers and one D end that has good interceptions. So you get to the secondary, and this is a super strength, especially the interception rating on these guys. So Lemuel Stinson is a 56 maximum speed, 50 hitting power, 69 interceptions. He's good at that corner. And then you got Donnell Woolford on the other side, 50 maximum speed, also a 63 interceptions, 44 hitting power. So you got good speed, good interceptions. And then Mark Carrier, top in the game at interceptions, up there in Jerry Rice territory, matching that 81 receptions that he has. He's also fast, 56 maximum speed. And he's at his, snap of the ball, 38, accelerating to 44 rush power. He's a great free safety. And Sean Gale, not the fastest in the secondary, 44 maximum speed, but that's still pretty solid. 44 hitting power, 56 interceptions. So you have no weakness in interceptions in the Bears secondary. So you might be able to pick off some balls with the Bears, I'm just saying. All right, and I said I wanted to put in Muster at... Where is Ron Morris? We put Muster in at the tight end so he can block. And then you're going to put Muster at kick returner and punt returner because he will retain that 94 hitting power. So he'll be able to blast some guys on the kick and punt returns. And then also, your punt returner is going to have Sean Gale's maximum speed of 44. So it's all right. You're not returning a punt for a touchdown anyways. But it's just okay. So let's go to the teams and see who we would match the Bears up against. So me personally, I'm not a huge fan of using the Bears, even though I'm from Chicago. I have played a lot of seasons with the Bears, but as I've gained knowledge about the game, their passing game's just bad, and I like to pass a lot. So who are you going to match the Bears up against? They got a super strong defense. So what team can you match them up against? The Houston Oilers. The reason you can match them up against the Oilers is because the Oilers also have an offense that isn't quite balanced. The Oilers have that super strong passing game. Warren Moon could fill it up, throw it all over the field. But the Bears have the DBs to combat that. And then the Oilers don't have the running game that the Bears have. So it's going to be a run versus pass. If you're in the Tecmo Madison tournament, you pick that matchup. You think you can bait your opponent into, something that favors you. If you want them to pass, then pick Bears Oilers, and you should be able to at least give them a challenge with the defensive backs that you have on the Bears. The Bears, also, you could match them up against the Raiders. Now, the Raiders will have the advantage, I believe, just because they have more speed on offense overall. They don't have a great quarterback, but he has fast pass speed, and sometimes that can be a big difference in the game. So, they're not the Oakland Raiders in this game. They're the Los Angeles Raiders. That's a team you can match them up with. Other two teams you might see them matched up with are the Bengals. Now, if you pick Bengals versus Bears versus me, I'm going to take the Bengals just because they got better balance on offense. But the Bengals' defense is nowhere near the Bears. Even though they have the David Fulcher, the Bears are way better overall on defense. Let's say the Bears-Chiefs are a pretty good matchup, to be honest, but the Chiefs have that passing game with Steve DeBerg, as well as the running game with the Nigerian Nightmare. So again, you're giving them better balance with the Chiefs if you choose to pick that matchup. But I would say those are good matchups to pick. You just have to be ready to take advantage of what you can with the Bears, which is the run game and the strong defense. Other teams you match them up with, I have seen them match up against the Eagles. The Eagles are always a wild card matching up a team against them. But you could do that, and it's going to be the Randall Show versus the Chicago Bears. I would say the Bears overall are kind of like they're above mid-tier just slightly. So you could match them up really against any of the mid-tier teams, like the Dolphins, like the Redskins, Lions, Minnesota Vikings, St. Louis Rams, because the Bears, they have the DBs to match up against their wide receivers. So yeah, those are matchups you can look at as well. With the Bears, it just all comes down to your comfort level. And my comfort level with the Bears isn't that high, but I'm going to play them right now. And I'm just going to go Bears-Oilers. And like I said, I think the Oilers have the matchup, the advantage in this matchup. But since the Bears have a good interception ratings in the backfield, they can match up with them quite well. And I'm just going to return here. So yeah, a little bit more about the Bears and my fandom for them. Yeah, Brian Urlacher, he's just a great linebacker. He's a good guy to root for. The Bears have always been known for their strong defense. And Urlacher carried on that tradition. The Bears had some great defenses throughout the Urlacher, pretty much in the 2000 era. And you see Tomczak just threw a horrible pass. But it was hard not to root for them. If it wasn't for Urlacher, I might have abandoned the team completely. But they did bring them to that one Super Bowl with Lovie Smith as the coach. And they went down to the Indianapolis Colts and Peyton Manning. And I knew that was going to happen. But since I was I'm a huge fan of Peyton Manning and the Bears, that was like the best Super Bowl for me because I really had rooting interests in both teams, so I wasn't going to be too disappointed either way. But I kind of figured that the touchdown right there, I figured that the Bears were going to lose that game because I knew they were playing cover 2 defense all year, that Tampa 2 that Lovie Smith uses, and Peyton Manning shreds that stuff up. So, and the Bears, that's how they played defense all year. They had great results, and they just weren't going to come out of that, and really that's what cost them the Super Bowl. Because Peyton Manning wasn't chucking the ball downfield the whole game. It was just dinking and dunking, taking what the defense gives them, and that was it. So yeah, the best two defenders, and there's Singletary already getting into for a sack, are really Mark Carrier and Mike Singletary. So those are the two you probably want to use the most. User control and Bears D. And then also, you have enough speed on defense where you're probably just going to guess the pass most of the time if you're playing the Oilers and forcing them to run. And since you got fast defenders, you should have no problem shutting down their running game, even with a lesser run game defense, just getting your user defender over there and breaking up the play. Oh, Brad Muster fumbling. That's the problem with the punt return fumble is the guy you're controlling can never get back to make the tackle. It wouldn't be as devastating if you could make the tackle right away, but I feel like the majority of the time when the punt return fumble happens, it's just an automatic touchdown. So that sucked, but what can you do? You know, a lot of times I like to get out of bounds. Probably the smartest thing to do, but since Brad Muster has that 94 hit power, it's kind of fun to return kicks with them, and you want to use that to your advantage because there's not too many guys with the 94 in hit power just popcorning guys up the field. So Neal Anderson, he has that devastating speed in this game, 63, as you see, taking a little cross route up the middle for a touchdown. Mike Tomczak hitting it. And that's the thing, when you're using the Bears on offense, your opponent's probably going to guess run most of the time. So if you surprise him with the pass when he's pick and run, even though your quarterbacks aren't good, you're going to have some open receivers, you're going to have some options. And yeah, I probably will just, especially playing the computer, I'm guessing pass all game. I'm not worried about the run at all. And that's the way you should play it. And usually playing the Oilers, you're going to expect a lot of covered catches. But as I've said, the Bears' interception rating can cancel out that good reception rating. Because it's a combination of the pass control of the quarterback, the reception rating of the receiver, and then if you have a DB or defender covering them, then that interception rating gets calculated into there and gives them a less percentage chance of catching the ball. Also gives you a higher percentage of intercepting the ball and deflecting the pass. And there's Ron Morris. Can he hit the... Oh, wow. See, those will kill you with the Bears. So, I follow... A lot of this information that I'm talking about comes from a Tecmo genius named Brewdog, and I saw a couple of his tweets this week. I think one of them said that he hacked the game to know that like every 700 tackles, if you're simulating a season, is an injury. So it's kind of cool information to know. There's another stat that he put out there, and that's the problem with the Bears. We're going to throw some picks. There's another stat that he put out there. I forgot what that one was, but, continue the good work, Brewdog, and it's always fun things. It's cool to learn new things about this game, because obviously, 25 years later, still a lot of people playing it, and that knowledge is always fun to have. I always wonder about some of these other sports games because there's probably little things to know about them as well, but, you know, they don't have the following that this game does, so we don't know those things. I also believe that there is there is a ROM that Brewdog put out there, and I think it's on the Tecmo Madison website as well, where you can, if you're playing an opponent, it picks a random Tecmo Madison matchup for you, some common matchups that you would see. I think there's 64 matchups to choose from. So if you don't, so you can hit muster, better start running. You know, if you just don't want to think about matchups and you're playing off a computer or something, it's not a bad way to go. Download the ROM and have the game pick the matchups for you. I always think, though, that it is a good idea to... Oh man, I'm not going to score a touchdown off this. Too slow. It's always a good idea to sit down and just pick the matchups when you're playing an opponent, because you're going to have to pick a matchup in the tournament, and you don't want to go there without any game plan of what matchups you like. I can't say that I've ever been super good at picking the matchup. You know, including the Tundra Bowl, the last tournament I played in, I picked a bad matchup for me, which was Redskins Dolphins, and I felt like, I know I'm not that good with the Redskins, but I felt like my opponent would take them, and he did it, and I got steamrolled. So that's the breaks. So there's some tournaments coming up. I believe there's a small tournament in Green Bay. I believe it's this weekend. So, you know, visit the TecmoBowl.org site for information on that. And then there's the Detroit Crewmite tournament at the Detroit Brewing Company in downtown Detroit. Still hoping I can get to that one, but don't know. Got some things pending, but I'd like to go check that one out. And if you're viewing this video, also TecmoBowl.org, go take a look at some of the live tourneys coming up, because there's quite a few now these days. So you got a lot of options, but the big one we all know is Tecmo Madison. William Perry with the sack. Tecmo Madison tournament, and I think they're heating up the Friday events as well. I just seen that they're having an NBA Jam Tournament Edition 2-on-2 tournament. I'm not sure what system they're having it on. Maybe I missed that. But that sounds like a lot of fun for sure. So check that out. Maybe you want to sign up for that too. Picked off Lemuel Stinson. So yeah, the Bears, you do have a lot of opportunities. I mean, you could really just pick most guys on defense and be alright. But that's why you pick the Bears, because you hope for the higher percentage to pick off some balls. And as you can see, we're doing it versus one of the best quarterbacks in the game, Warren Moon. And he also has good receivers. But I feel like it can go either way with the team. Ooh, touchdown. Tomczak throwing a good one. It can go either way versus a team like the Oilers. You might not get as many picks as you would like, but if you could break balls up that they just throw up, you can feel pretty good about that. 28-7. So if you're using the Bears, you want to try to keep your opponent under, I would say, about 17 or under. If they're scoring more than that, you're probably in trouble. But they are a great candidate for defensive touchdowns. Because look at the fridge. He's just dominating. I'm not guessing the play. I'm not blitzing, but he's just taking down that center of the Oilers because he has a high hit power. He's just blasting right through him, going to get the sack on Warren Moon. And here, this play. So see, that's the thing about. That's why I use that play in my playbook, because if you can see, I picked the linebacker thinking that they might run the Lorenzo White play, but they ran pass 3, which is the same formation, and they were able to get a receiver open. And see, this is the same formation right now. And see, I picked the linebacker again. Could have blitzed, but there you go. 2 plays in a row that they run that, and they get a completion. So now I'll pick that pass play, make sure that doesn't happen again. Where's the coverage? Warren Moon scrambling. So yeah, I did a matinee special today with the Bears. Oh wow. Warren Moon's not feeling all those picks. So he's getting a touchdown. Wasn't at work today, so I know a lot of these videos, podcasts, different things that I look at and listen to are while I'm at work working. Got 2 computer screens, so leave one on the other side. So I wanted to see if there would be people interested in this during the day. So far, no one on the live stream, but that's all right. And here it is, the kick return touchdown, Ron Morris. With the Chicago Bears. So, on a video like this where I tell you I'm not good with the Bears, if I get into, if I get some practice in versus live opponents for the Tecmo Madison tournament, you should pick matchups with teams that you're not good with, or you feel a little uncomfortable with, and try to get better with them. So you have a little familiarity in that matchup. Even though I say I'm not comfortable with the Bears, I have played so many games with them versus the computer in particular that I could use them in the tournament and be just fine. So if they picked them versus a weaker opponent, say someone picked like Bears Dallas, which they actually lost to in the playoffs in 1991. 1990, the Bears were 11-5, and the same thing in 91. 90, they won the division. 91, the Lions won the division at 12-4. So I've used the Bears plenty of times to be comfortable with them. Their defense, like I said, it's stacked. They probably have the best secondary interception-wise of any team in the game. Get more carrier to the ball, and you should be pretty good. See, carrier breaking that one up. And I've said this in other videos, but two defenders on a receiver when the ball's thrown is going to help you either break up that play or get an interception. That third guy doesn't do anything. So if you already got 2 guys there, you might not need to worry. You might not need to worry about getting that third guy there. But if there's only 1 defender there, try to get that double coverage there. It puts the odds in your favor as far as deflecting passes and getting picks. Warren Moon's really trying to get some running plays going. That's not happening there. Oh man, just couldn't get carried there. Warren Moon snuck it in. So yeah, if you guys watch this video later, just let me know if you like Bears-Oilers matchup. 14 seconds. Let's get Johnny Bailey a run up the middle. He's He's going fast. Might be able to take this one to the house. Go zigzag. Come on, you can do it. There it is. I just got done watching Game of Thrones. This is a spoiler, but in one of the seasons, one of the brothers was moving towards the other side, trying not to get hit by an arrow in warfare, and he obviously never played Tecmo Super Bowl because he was not zigzagging. He's running in a straight line, and he got hit with that arrow. So, anyways, 42-14, Bears over Oilers. The Bears have, with their defense, the picks you can get, the opportunities, how many offensive possessions you might get, they do have the tendency to rack up some points as well. Don't let them fool you. And Mike Tomczak did the job there. So yeah, that's the Chicago Bears, my hometown team. And yeah, so we talked about what team to match them up with, a little breakdown of the team. So let me know what matchups you like with the Bears. And next time we are staying in the NFC Central, and we'll be talking about the team that was in the NFC Championship this year in 1991, the Detroit Lions with the stud linebacker Barry Sanders. So thanks for checking out this video. I'll catch you guys next time.